As we dive into the second week of February, we're witnessing a significant shift in our weather patterns. A dominant low pressure system is settling over the upper Midwest and south central Canada, creating a unique scenario with a single powerful low instead of the usual two. This setup is primed to usher in a blast of colder air across the northern and eastern United States. The temperature forecast reveals a notable negative anomaly in these regions, signaling another cross-country cold event. Meanwhile, the southeastern United States will bask in a warmer than normal air mass, thanks to a persistent high-pressure ridge. Looking closer, the ECMWF operational forecast suggests that around Valentine's Day, a frigid air mass will sweep through the northern, central, and eastern United States and Canada, while the southeast remains toasty. Snowfall is also on the horizon, particularly in the western elevations and the northeastern United States, where the potential for significant accumulation is increasing. Overall, expect a chilly first half of February for the northern half of the United States and southern Canada, with promising snowfall in the Pacific Northwest and the Northeast. In contrast, the southern states will enjoy above normal temperatures and drier conditions. Stratospheric warming is on the horizon, and it's set to shake up our winter weather in the United States and Canada. A rare split in the polar vortex is forecasted, which typically leads to the formation of daughter vortices in the stratosphere. One of these vortices is expected to drift over North America, significantly altering our weather patterns. This phenomenon is crucial because it can bring frigid air southward, leading to colder temperatures and potentially severe winter storms. As we dive deeper into February, we'll witness the impacts of this stratospheric warming event, shaping not just our immediate weather, but also influencing conditions into late winter and spring. Understanding the polar vortex and its behavior is key to predicting these dramatic shifts. Buckle up, winter is about to get interesting. As we dive deeper into the lower stratosphere at around 50 Maldives or 20 kilometers high, we can observe the fascinating effects of stratospheric warming and the split of the polar vortex. Current forecasts reveal a significant trend. The core of the polar vortex is shifting towards North America. This split typically leads to a high-pressure system building over the polar regions, while the remaining cold air masses are pushed down into the mid-latitudes. In this scenario, we see one core heading over Asia and another making its way into Canada and the United States. The 3D structure forecast for mid-February clearly illustrates this split, with one core poised to impact North America directly. This means we can expect a substantial influx of cold air, bringing frigid temperatures and potentially severe winter weather to the region. The dynamics of the polar vortex are not just a meteorological curiosity, they have real implications for our winter climate. Such strong waves send a tremendous amount of energy upwards into the stratosphere, causing a rise in pressure and temperature. This process destabilizes the polar vortex from the top down. In mid-February, we can observe two powerful high-pressure areas forming in the stratosphere, often referred to as the anti-vortex. When these areas converge, they create a significant warming wave that splits the main polar vortex into two distinct low-pressure cores, known as daughter vortices. This marks the onset of a substantial stratospheric warming event, leading to a critical weakening of the polar vortex for this time of year. The mid-stratosphere pressure anomaly forecast reveals these two low-pressure cores, and one of them is set to move over North America, bringing notable weather impacts to the lower levels. The dynamics at play here are fascinating and can lead to dramatic shifts in our weather patterns. The 2025 stratospheric warming event is upon us, and it's fascinating to observe the dynamics at play. Right now, the polar vortex is strong, as indicated by the blue box in our analysis. But hold on, things are about to change dramatically. We're seeing a significant weakening of the vortex, with temperatures in the stratosphere set to rise sharply. This is a classic signal of a sudden stratospheric warming event. What does this mean for us? The effects will ripple down to the lower atmosphere, altering weather patterns across the globe. It all starts with intense pressure waves and anomalies in the lower levels. In just 5 days, we can expect two powerful high-pressure systems to emerge, generating massive pressure waves. These shifts can lead to extreme weather, so keep an eye on the forecast. This is where the action begins. The strength of the stratospheric polar vortex is measured by the winds. When the vortex is organized, the winds around its core are powerful, influencing weather patterns at the surface. Right now, we're seeing exceptionally high wind values, but forecasts indicate a rapid deceleration ahead. Each new model run shows the vortex weakening. So, what causes this dramatic slowdown? It takes a significant amount of energy to disrupt such a massive circulation. One key player in this process is sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW. This phenomenon can dramatically weaken the polar vortex, leading to significant changes in our weather. Understanding these dynamics is crucial, as they can have far-reaching effects on our climate. The pressure anomaly at this level reveals something fascinating about the polar vortex. Right now, it's operating with significantly lower pressure than usual in the mid-stratosphere. This indicates a robust and organized circulation. When we dive into a 3D analysis, we can see its compact structure clearly. It boasts a beautifully circular shape and a remarkably strong vertical profile. What's intriguing is that there are no high-pressure zones in the stratosphere to disrupt this formation. This stability is key, allowing the polar vortex to maintain its integrity and strength. It's a striking example of atmospheric dynamics at play. Sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, is a fascinating phenomenon where a rapid rise in temperature and pressure in the stratosphere disrupts the polar vortex. This disruption can lead to dramatic changes in our weather patterns. Picture this. The polar vortex, which usually keeps cold air locked up in the Arctic, gets split in half. One piece dives down into Canada and the United States, unleashing frigid temperatures and severe winter weather. The mid-month forecast shows pressure anomalies that illustrate this split beautifully. It's like a weather domino effect, where one strong disturbance can ripple through the atmosphere, affecting everything from snowfall to temperature swings. This is just one forecast, but it highlights how interconnected our weather systems are and how a single event in the stratosphere can reshape our winter experience. You can see the high-pressure system dominating the pole, while low-pressure areas are scattered and seemingly split apart. A robust pressure wave is sweeping across the United States and Canada, with another one impacting Europe. The surface temperature forecast indicates a significant cold air outbreak from the polar regions, affecting the northern, central, and eastern United States. This pattern is typical after rapid and strong polar vortex split events in the stratosphere. Looking at the pressure anomaly forecast from the ECMWF model, we see a similar trend, a strong high-pressure area over the polar regions, pushing low-pressure anomalies and cold air southward into North America and Europe. This alignment reflects the stratospheric anomalies, with the polar vortex core shifting into North America. When multiple models converge on a similar pattern, it strengthens our confidence in the forecast, highlighting the dynamic interplay between the stratosphere and our weather systems. The latest model reveals some intriguing weather patterns. We're seeing strong polar cold anomalies gripping the United States and southern Canada, while warm anomalies are taking hold over the polar circle. This shift is pushing cold air down into our region. As we look ahead, the stratospheric warming event is projected to trigger a significant cold air outbreak around Valentine's Day. Meanwhile, Europe isn't left out. A cold air mass is expected to sweep in, driven by a lingering low-pressure system in the northeast. The coldest air will likely settle over North America, influenced by one of the split polar vortex cores. Europe's outcome remains uncertain for now, but as we approach mid-February, we'll gain clearer insights into how these changes will affect the weather across the continent. The extended range forecast indicates a persistent low-pressure zone over the US and Canada, while a high-pressure area remains anchored over the pole, suggesting that the polar vortex will continue to shape our weather patterns. The polar vortex is often misunderstood as just another winter storm, but it's so much more. Think of it as the entire weather circulation over the northern hemisphere. Right now, it's running stronger and larger than normal, acting like a powerful cyclone with a cold core at its center. This massive system influences weather patterns across vast distances, not just a localized cold snap. As we analyze the latest data, we see how this stratospheric behemoth shapes our forecast, from immediate conditions to extended range predictions. Understanding the polar vortex helps us grasp the bigger picture of our climate and prepares us for what's to come. The polar vortex is a fascinating phenomenon that shapes our winter weather. Imagine a massive circulation system over the northern hemisphere, extending high into the atmosphere. It consists of two main parts: the lower troposphere, where all our weather happens, and the upper stratosphere, home to the ozone layer. These layers interact in complex ways. When the polar vortex is strong, it keeps the cold air locked up near the poles, leading to milder winters. But when it weakens, that frigid air can spill southward, bringing extreme cold and snow to regions that usually enjoy milder temperatures. Understanding this dynamic helps us predict weather patterns and prepare for whatever winter throws our way. The polar vortex isn't just a scientific term, it's a key player in the drama of our winter climate. A significant stratospheric warming event is on the horizon, and it's set to disrupt the polar vortex, potentially bringing frigid temperatures to the United States and Canada. This phenomenon occurs when the polar vortex weakens and splits, creating daughter vortices that can shift southward. As we dive deeper into February, this split could lead to dramatic weather changes across the northern hemisphere. Understanding the polar vortex is crucial. It's a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding the Earth's poles. When it's stable, we enjoy milder winters. But when it weakens, as it's forecasted to do, we can expect colder air to plunge southward, impacting our weather patterns significantly. So keep an eye on this developing situation, as the effects of this stratospheric warming could reshape our winter experience and lead to some intense weather events as we transition into spring. As we dive into the second week of February, we're witnessing a significant shift in our weather patterns. A dominant low-pressure system is settling over the upper Midwest and south-central Canada, creating a unique scenario with a single powerful low instead of the usual two. This setup is primed to usher in a blast of colder air across the northern and eastern United States. The temperature forecast reveals a notable negative anomaly in these regions, signaling another cross-country cold event. Meanwhile, the southeastern United States will bask in a warmer than normal air mass thanks to a persistent high-pressure ridge. Looking closer, the ECMWF operational forecast suggests that around Valentine's Day, a frigid air mass will sweep through the northern, central, and eastern United States and Canada, while the southeast remains toasty. Snowfall is also on the horizon, particularly in the western elevations and the northeastern United States, where the potential for significant accumulation is increasing. Overall, expect a chilly first half of February for the northern half of the United States and southern Canada, with promising snowfall in the Pacific Northwest and the Northeast. In contrast, the southern states will enjoy above normal temperatures and drier conditions.